So which one are we doing here? With You in Your Town?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Right, this is With You in Your Town by me, Tommy Rodger.
Ready? Feeling good?
I guess we shall.
Yeah, nice.
Should start. Yeah,
cool.
No, I'm ready.
Cool. Tommy Rodger, first of all, awesome name. Super cool.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on the Tempo Melody podcast. It's an honor to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to tell you the story of how I kind of found you.
Sure.
Lexi Berg, who I hopefully will have on the pod eventually. She posted a story of you. I think what is she hosts like a concert series, right?
Yeah, it's like a singer-songwriter's evening at her flat.
Yeah, and she posted a story of you, and very small, very short, but like whatever you sang at that point, I was like, whoa. And that's when I reached out to you. And so just to acknowledge that, I think even a small little note of yours, got somebody to be like, okay, wow, this guy's good.
Yeah, I know that evening was pretty special.
Yeah,
nice. It was the first one I went to.
Okay, cool.
I don't really know Lexi that well. We've become friends very recently, and that evening I heard a lot of singers perform, and musicians and instrumentalists, and it was very impressive. I was slightly taken aback by the whole event and what she planned. It was very well thought out, and it was special.
Yeah, nice. I mean, those intimate gigs, I think, can be quite special, but also I imagine quite frightening. But we'll get to that. So the idea behind this pod is we kind of talk about your journey through music. Now,
cool.
As this is a music podcast, we will talk about it, but you can't miss the sort of acting career that you've had, which I'm sure is transferable in many ways to pursuing a music career and performing in that way. So love to talk about that. I guess feel free to talk about both. And just like the inspiration. So from the beginning, you had an early career as an actor.
Yes.
Yeah, can you talk me through a little bit about how you got started in that?
Okay, so I suppose I'll start with like my very, very young childhood. So my parents are incredibly musical. My family's incredibly musical. We perform a lot. I just remember I have memories of me sitting by a little sort of toy piano with my two sisters. I'm the youngest. And we would just perform for each other and perform for my family. And I think there was, at the very beginning, an encouragement to express ourselves creatively and express our emotions. And I don't think our parents ever wanted us to bottle things up or, sort of create an environment where we can't express
safe
ourselves.
Space, yeah.
Safe space. Which sort of led to my desire to kind of pursue this industry or these creative spaces. Yeah. I was only doing it for fun, really. I was at school. I was performing in amateur theatre companies, that kind of thing. And then when I was about 9, I was at this school called Songtime, and the head of that school said to me, I really think it's a good idea for you to audition for Les Mis and play Gavroche and do an audition for this West End show at the Queen's Theatre. And I'd never done anything like that before, but I enjoyed performing. My parents thought I looked a lot like the character and maybe it would be a good fit. So I just went, and then on that day I got the job. Which is
on the day?
Yeah, so I did one audition. So it was a morning thing, and then they said, right, come back in the afternoon. And then I waited a week, and then I found out that off the back of that audition, I got the part. And it was 2 other boys who got the part as well. So we shared it, and I did that for a year. And that started my journey into acting. And the only reason I started doing music was because of COVID.
Okay.
So there was a shutdown of the acting industry. I didn't have anything to do. I just left school. And I essentially decided to write songs purely out of enjoyment. And I'm really happy that I started that way, because I think it led me to think about what kind of things I actually want to write about and what I want to sing and how I want to sound. And obviously that's an ever-changing journey. But
sure, yeah. You're off to a good start. That's
yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to let out experiences that I've had through song, and I never wanted to write a song before that because I had nothing to say. And I was always stuck in my mind that thought that I didn't want to write something unless I had something to say. So I just waited, never wrote songs. And then about 18, 19, wrote my first song during COVID. Was never planning to release this music, was never planning to be a musician. Thought, the COVID will be over, I'll be acting again. The acting strike hit.
Yep.
Couldn't act still. I did a couple of jobs between that time. And my friends and my family were like, you should start releasing this stuff. You should start playing open mics. So I started doing that. And then I'll do your first proper gig, get paid for the first time as a musician, which was a special thing. It wasn't very much money. And starting to release on Spotify and just going through that journey. And that's kind of where I'm at now, just trying to figure it all out. Really.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said, you're off to a good start, man. Those 2 songs you've got out now are really incredible.
Thank you.
The storytelling behind them is exceptional, and it's quite shocking the fact that you just kind of started songwriting, considering how developed it sounds, which is
I suppose I think it's, if you to call it developed, I suppose maybe it is that because of just the experience being creative. So even though I wasn't writing songs, storytelling's been part of my life forever, and that's really important to me. So I suppose that's why the storytelling is so key to the music I'm writing, even if it's my first few songs.
Yeah, well, I want to go back to kind of the beginning still, if that's okay.
Sure, yeah, no.
So being within a family of creatives, and obviously they gave you kind of the perfect formula to be a creative, having that safe space, showing emotions, which are key things in music, acting, whatever. When you got to that audition, because I guess you were kind of performing for your family, maybe some friends, whatever, it was kind of in that sort of bubble. When you got to that audition, what was that like for you, if you can remember, to sort of say, oh, this is not my family I'm performing in front of?
Yeah, I suppose I was very well drilled because my parents come from that background, I suppose.
I
don't know. So my dad went to university and studied business, but then my mum left school at like 16 and worked in a film studio, like production stuff. And she always wanted to be in theatre, went to theatre school. My dad never trained as an actor or as a performer, but went into it through the National Youth Theatre, which is something he did here in London. And they met through theatre, so they understand how it all works. So even though I had no experience, they essentially said, right, this is how it's going to be.
Right. Cool.
I don't know, I guess it's a little bit lighter because I'm a child.
Yeah.
So it wasn't as stressful as they thought it might be, but they drilled me in a way. I don't know, they treated me as if I could handle it.
Nice.
The idea that you walk in, they don't really care that much about you. They care if you are good or if you're bad. Don't take it personally, kind of thing. All you can do is do your best. All you can do is be prepared. You offer them what you offer them, and they're going to choose you, and they're not going to choose you. So don't just let it go. And they almost said to me, think that you haven't got the job. Think that this isn't going to go well. And it was almost like a negative. I don't think I necessarily think that way now, but I understand why they drilled that into me, because the idea of not taking rejection too seriously. So when I arrived on that day at the Queen's Theatre, it was one of those sort of lounge rooms we were in. The director was there, the cast director was there, and it's basically just a line of young guys, just me and a bunch of people who looked exactly like me.
Must have been weird.
Yeah, actually not all of them looked like me. There was a variety of guys, but a lot of them looked like me. And essentially, one by one, we sang the song "Little People." It's like little people know, little people fight, Americans we've got some fight kind of thing. And we all learnt this song. And before I went in, the biggest thing my parents said was, we looked at the characteristics of Gavroche, the idea that he's sort of Jack the Lad, he's Artful Dodger type character. Yeah. And so we just rehearsed that kind of thing, which is kind of came... It's something that I kind of have a little bit of in my day-to-day life, especially at that age. I was sort of a bit cheeky, chappy kind of thing. So that came quite easy to me, and just rehearsed the song non-stop. And a big thing they focused on was diction. The idea that people want to hear every word you're saying. They want to hear the story, that kind of thing. So just rehearsed my pronunciation, just, little people know, really just like doing all those exercises, making sure I had it perfect, did it thousands of times. turned up one by one. We all did it. And then they had these pieces of paper which basically said, they sort of looked like contracts, but they were basically just like, oh, we'd like to see you later, basically. It was a pretty simple message. So they handed it to a few people, included me, after everyone had sung. And it just said, come back later, essentially. So I went, got lunch with my mum, came back, did the same thing again. It was pretty simple. We didn't have to do that much. It was just sing this song. And we kept singing this song, and then they kept, essentially after this point, they were just cutting people. So they were going, right, you 5, you can leave. Everyone's saying, right, you 5, you can leave. Everyone's saying, and then it was left with me and these 2 other boys. And the last thing they got to do was sing the highest note in the show. And it's kind of weird that they did. I suppose it's understandable. Yeah. So we played it through with the guy. I think there was a guy with the piano maybe, and I think there was. And we sang this new melody, and it was essentially it was the most difficult part, or what they deemed to be the most difficult part. We all sang it. We all seemed to be able to do it, and off the back of that, we all got cast. So it was a week later, and the funny story about this is they called my mum and told her that I hadn't got the job. Which was completely a mistake by them. So the cast director then rung up an hour later saying, oh my God, I'm so sorry. He has got the job. Nice. And they were apologising like crazy. But for like an hour or so, my mum genuinely thought it hadn't gone my way, and I'd gotten so close. I was literally right at the end, and she thought it was just all, falling through. Yeah. And she was really upset because she thought I was so perfect for the job. But then it turned out I had got the part. Yeah, that started awesome. my whole journey. Yeah. Without that, I don't think I'd be here talking to you. To be honest. Here maybe I would be.
Les Mis to this podcast.
Yeah, I don't
know. So were you surprised when you got the part? Like, do you remember if you were just kind of
it's hard
over
to remember.
It? Like what? Yeah. What
to be honest, I'm not the best at remembering.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
My childhood is. I remember moments. I remember being in that room.
Yeah.
I think I was, to be honest.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know, I guess my parents made a massive effort to keep me very grounded. I think they hated the idea that I would become the kind of person that was like, oh, look at me, I'm an actor. Or look at me, I'm in this show. I'm 9 years old and I'm making money and this kind of thing. And the idea that could lead to negative things coming, like my way of like, if I'm flaunting myself, then obviously that's going to just create people to not look at me in the same light as they did before I was an actor or whatever. And actor kids sometimes go off the rails, don't they? And they think that they're something special when really they're just one of many people. And so I think everything felt very low key because they made it seem that way. So when I got the part, it was really exciting, but at the same time it was, for them, they were trying to remind me it's a job. We're going to do this job. It's going to be super fun, but see it as a job. And that's been something I've always had to sort of figure out as I've gone through my journey as an actor and as a musician, less so as a musician, I suppose, that the way I see being creative has changed a lot, because it was at the very beginning kind of a job. Like I was kind of good at it. It was fun, but I never had this intrinsic sense that I needed to be an artist. Like I need to say something. I've got these thoughts, these emotions, this vulnerability, this conflict inside me that I need to let out, that everyone has. When you're 9 years old, you're not conscious of this kind of stuff. So I was like, I enjoy it. People tell me I'm good at it. I'll just continue to perform. And over time, I've started to realise that it's actually something I wanted to do rather than something that other people thought I should do.
Nice.
And that's been a cool thing to realise, because it gives me more passion for what I do. But yeah, that time was just kind of, oh, this is fun. Like I'm in this thing that other people don't necessarily get the chance to do. I'm privileged to be able to do it. This is exciting. And then you're just going with emotions, aren't you? Just figuring it out.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, no worries.
What helped you come to that realization?
What about the
fact that you're doing it for you and not because other people think you're good?
Yeah, so we have to fast forward a bit. So
okay. So it's recent.
Yeah, last few, since I was about 19 or 18.
Yeah. How old are you now?
22.
Okay, gotcha.
So the change came when it no longer became anyone else's choice. So when I was young, it was my parents' choice to put me in ballet class. It was my parents' choice to put me in theatre school. Yeah. It was my parents' choice to sort of go, right, we should focus on doing homework, like anything. Like they set out my routine, piano lessons, things like that. And I was just going with the flow. So this is fun. I don't like this. I do like this. Even if I didn't like it, sometimes I had to do it. Sometimes if I spoke my mind, they'd change it. But really, I was under a plan because they saw something that perhaps I couldn't see.
Yeah.
So the idea that I did ballet classes means that I can go out now and I can dance without feeling like I'm not very good or feeling like I can't express myself. The fact that I was able to get used to moving my body has helped me so much with my performance on stage and my performance in films and TV and in theatre and just going out with my mates. The idea that I can feel relaxed and you can understand that all it is just understanding these things like movement, expressing your voice, melody, I don't know, wordplay, that kind of stuff. It's all stuff that you can just learn from experience around it, listening to people you like, inspiration, people you admire. But yeah, back to the question. Yeah. When did I shift? I suppose when I started. So the first thing was seeing people on TV and seeing people in theatre that I truly respected. People that come to mind is Leonardo DiCaprio and Andrew Scott. These are two actors I really look up to. There's a film called The Departed with Matt Damon and Leonardo DiCaprio, and there's a scene when he's in therapy with the female therapist, and she says, "What do you want?" And he basically goes on this sort of speech where he essentially is saying that his life is falling apart because he's having to pretend to be someone he doesn't want to be, and he's freaking out. And it's such a passionate speech, and it's a very truthful performance, but it's not truthful in a subtle way. It's truthful in a very passionate way.
Look, I'm having panic attacks, all right? The other night I thought I was having a fucking heart attack. I puked in a trash barrel on the way over here. I haven't slept for fucking weeks.
And not only do you see just a great performance, but you see an actor that cares about what he wants to do. And I think that excites me, the idea that someone's showing up every day, doing something that they love, that they're willing to really just go for it and be vulnerable. And even though you're on a film set, so it doesn't really feel that big a deal, they make it seem like their life's on the line. Yeah. And I suppose coming from I come from a pretty privileged background. You know, I've been raised very well. My parents love me and care for me, and they want the best for me. I've got two lovely sisters. I've had a very comfortable life, to be honest. Great teachers. I've been able to be good at things. People have praised me for things, so I have a sense of confidence in myself, I suppose. And so it sticks out to me that through these kind of performances, you can learn a lot, live a lot of experiences, put yourself in these positions and really understand yourself, understand your conflicts, despite the fact that you're never really going to live the lives that these people lead and these characters, even though they represent real people. It's not like these are fake stories, but you can put yourself in other people's shoes, and the fact that someone like DiCaprio or Andrew Scott is willing to go so into that and be incredibly vulnerable just inspired me, really. Yeah. And I said, so is that what I want to do? And when I was 18, I did a film called 8 for Silver out in France, in Cognac, with a director called Sean Ellis. And that whole experience sticks with me because it was the first time I really felt like I did work that I was really proud of. Nice. That, like, I did plays before as a child that I obviously was proud of, but with this one, it was more conscious. I was trying to create a performance. I was trying to really make something believable and be really intentional about it and prepare properly. And it was all my choice. No one was telling me to prepare. It was, I want to prepare. And I went on set and we did scenes that I really thought were good. Nice. I was like, wow, like this director has really helped me. He's brought something out of me that I think is great, and I'm really proud of this work. And so I got on that plane back after the shoot, and I was like, I want to do that again. And that's when I realised, and that's when I started making plans to like not go to university and not do other routes, and kind of go against what certain people were telling me. to do. I was like, screw the safe options.
Nice.
I'm going down this route, and I'm really happy I did that. I think it's the best decision I ever made, really.
Amazing, man. What a moment. What a feeling that must have been to feel that and to know it, and I guess to accept it in a way.
Yeah. It's just great to, because everything's a work in progress. It's I look back on that work now, and let's say, and I go, oh, this work could be better. But at that time, just the fact that I was able to be vulnerable, and the fact that I was made to feel comfortable on set, and it felt like we were working towards a film that this director really wanted to make. He wrote it himself. He talked in detail with me about, you know, the inspirations of this film, and I just felt like I was part of something greater than me.
Yeah.
Something cool. And I look back on it now and I go, something you could say, oh, it's just a film, but at that time it was like, wow, this is cool. I want to be part of this. I want to do this myself. You know, I want to be part of stuff that means a lot to me. Because I was in his work, and it was even cool just to be part of something that he cared about. If I was in something that I felt passionate about, that you know, a topic or you know, a way people live that inspires me, then that would be amazing. And the idea just to meet all these people that are really creative and they care about their work, and that is a luxury, because it's not always that way with certain jobs that you do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got a few questions off the back of that. One being, have you been in a situation where it didn't feel like that, where
yes,
you thought, okay, so it's not all rainbows and sunshine?
No, it's not. No, I don't want to name any names.
No, and yeah, please don't.
Yeah, so I've been in rooms where I feel like people do not care about the script.
Yeah,
I feel like people are not prepared.
Yeah.
I've been through experiences where I'm not prepared. You know, when I was young, there were times when I didn't want to act, whatever.
Yeah.
It wasn't for actual jobs, but you know, auditions and things, and I haven't been prepared, and I embarrassed myself, and I realized that that's not on.
Yeah.
And I can't behave that way, because I can't be the guy that's kind of going against the team, and also I don't want to deal with people that are like that.
Yeah.
You know, so I got to set an example, I suppose, and those people got to set an example we've got to set an example for each other, I suppose. And yeah, it kind of makes you feel a bit, what's the word? It makes you feel like the industry isn't creative. It's a machine,
a business,
and it is that way to some extent.
Of course, yeah, it has to be, right?
Yeah, you know, people are out to make successful projects.
Yeah.
And it just makes me realize that that experience with that director was really special, and I learned a lot through that. And when I did, I played Jem in To Kill a Mockingbird at the Barbican.
Nice.
With is it Sean Leonard, I believe. He was in Dead Poets Society. I hope I got that name right.
That's okay.
But
we can put it,
that's embarrassing.
edit it in post. Yeah.
Robert Sean Leonard.
Okay.
That's his name. Yeah, he's. I remember him vividly being an inspiration just to watch. He took it very seriously, what he was doing.
Yeah.
And there's something about that. Something about just be passionate about your job and not doing it because it's just a job or it's just a way to earn money. The idea that I can get on stage and I can tell a story that I care about, and I can help people learn something maybe, or I can learn something through doing it.
Yeah.
It was great. And it's not always that way. I don't take that as necessarily a terrible thing. I just sort of go, this job's not like that today.
Yeah.
And the next job maybe will be.
No.
And obviously the dream would be to get to a position where you can control that, obviously,
Yeah.
but that's a privilege. So we're
Nice.
not quite there yet.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
One day, yeah.
Yeah.
And soon, I imagine.
Hopefully.
Yeah, because I guess you could look at that situation two ways. It could be, oh man, this industry maybe isn't for me if I'm going to run into these moments, or in the way that you looked at it, which is arguably the better outlook. I had a special experience here. I'm not going to have this many special experiences, and that's okay. But I will live for these kind of special moments and experiences.
I think the main thing is understanding the difference and what it is that is different.
Yeah.
So when you get the choice to choose, you choose the right choice.
Yeah.
You make the right choice.
Yeah.
And I think what's been great about starting to be a musician is that I control that.
Yeah.
because I'm completely independent at this point. And so everything I make is purely because I want to do it. So nothing is ever for because I haven't worked in a while, or you know, my agent thinks this is the right choice to take, or I don't know, there aren't any other options. And obviously at this stage in my career, you know, it's sometimes you've got to make things work, and you've got to sort of just throw yourself into stuff and be passionate about stuff that you don't really have much control over, because half the time you're not getting the job. So when you finally do get a job, it's like, wow. And even if it's not exactly what you wanted it to be, or you don't quite relate to it, or who knows, you just got to try, and you got to put yourself into it and try and bring that passion, I suppose, and hopefully that creates a better environment. But to be fair, I've been quite lucky. Most of the experience I've had have been pretty great. Nice. At least you meet a couple of people, or one scene you do and you go, yeah, that was it. And sometimes it's out of your control, because sometimes, you know, it's a very stressful environment, especially on a film set. So you have no idea what's going on with people, you know, their personal lives, kind of stuff. So sometimes, you know, just have off days and people aren't firing on all cylinders. But my acting teacher, who's his name's Matthew Harrison, he's someone I work with occasionally, and he says something about the idea that the best actors are the ones that can do it on a bad day. You know, when the vibe is completely off, the set's terrible, no one cares about your performance, no one wants you to succeed, and then you just do a great performance because you're so prepared that you can't not do a good performance.
Nice. I'm sure that's transferable into music as well.
Just making the most of it. Like I've done shows when no one's been there, and I've done shows when 400 people's been there. I've been lucky to support certain artists and stuff, and sometimes it's better to do it when no one's there. Because at least you
can let it ride.
I don't know. It's more for you, I suppose. It's a weird thing. The idea, is it for you? Is it for the audience? Is it? That's a whole another conversation we can have. But, I guess I just try and enjoy it.
Good, man.
Yeah.
Well, the follow-up question to what we were talking about, you mentioned you were in the space of the director's work, and it was his environment and kind of his steer.
Yeah.
Now with your music, you're in charge. You're telling your story. You're doing your own thing. You're performing your material. What's that like for you, and what was that transition like for you to, because coming from theater, I imagine you're quite comfortable on stage, but you're performing someone else's material, and now you're performing what I imagine is kind of personal to you. So yeah, what was that transition like, and how do you find it now?
I feel like when I speak to most people about the difference, people assume or think that it's very different. The idea that if I'm telling my story, if I'm writing my own song that's my life, it's so much more vulnerable. It's very different to playing someone, like playing a character. I see them as very similar. With acting, I see my job to be incredibly vulnerable. I guess the best way to put it is it's not fake. Like it's not. I'm not pretending.
Yeah.
Even if I am, I'm not. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I find a way to put myself in that position when it is me.
Yeah.
And so with music, it's the same thing. It's like, who am I? And I suppose the only difference is the detail is even more personal.
Yeah.
I guess what's the best thing about music, and the reason why I want to do both, is because like I said, I control it. So I can determine what story we're telling, why I'm telling it, how I want that story to be told.
Yeah.
So I am the actor, I am the writer, I'm the musician. So it's really fun to be part of something that you chose to do. You know, there's no sense of if you're not passionate about it, you can just stop doing it.
Yeah.
So it's cool to make something I want to make, be passionate about it, put it out there, and do it for me. And that's what keeps me going, despite the fact that the chances that, you know, any musician or any actor actually gets anywhere through the career. Obviously, the dream is to be able to survive off of your creativity, but who cares, I suppose? Yeah. Because I just enjoy doing it, and I wrote the songs for me in my room, and I had no intention of playing them to anyone.
Yeah.
And I didn't care, and the subject matter is for me.
Yeah.
And so you don't like my lyrics, so what?
Yeah.
And it just so happened that, you know, people start to like it in my circle of my friends and my family and people that know who I am. And then, right, I record it, and then it so happens, you know, people like it and they message you on social media and they're like, hey, I want to listen to this.
Yeah.
You know, this is great. It's like, cool, let's keep going. And then you get approached by someone like, hey, can we help you? Can we help you develop? And obviously that's really exciting.
Yeah.
But it's not about that. It's about the fact that these are for me. And I think that's hopefully going to help me if this continues and if this progresses, that I'm going to hopefully stay true to that.
Yeah, man.
Because I think I will know the difference.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see that in the stuff I'm making, kind of what is more me and what is kind of me trying to be something that I'm not.
Yeah.
And just my lack of experience, like in the studio, like
Yeah.
I don't quite sound relaxed. Why is that?
Mm.
Why do I sound relaxed in my room? How can I create the environment of my room in the studio? All these kind of things. The same as being on stage, like doing your speech in your room and then doing your speech on stage. How can I make that the same thing? You know, why is it different? In a rehearsal room, in front of thousands of people, in front of the camera, in front of the director. Just I think it's preparation, I suppose. Just drilling yourself and doing it because you love it.
Yeah.
And allowing that to be the reason. So you put the time and effort in because you want to do it, I suppose.
Yeah. You can tell me if I'm wrong. But when I'm listening to you speak about this, one, it's very inspiring to hear you talk about it.
I hope so.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And but also, I pick up on the fact that you're almost in disbelief that you're doing this thing. You threw out a cheeky little smile. So it's like, have you? Are you still working through the fact that you're pursuing this?
What am I in disbelief about? I guess I just.
And maybe you're not. But that's kind of.
I'm not. What? How do I put it? I'm incredibly privileged to do what I do.
Yeah.
It really hits me a lot that, you know, a lot of people do not have the opportunity that I have, and I don't think that's a reason to kind of not do it. I think I've got, from a very young age, I was blessed with an environment that allows me to be myself. Obviously, I'm still on that journey. I'm not 100%,
Sure.
you know, and who knows what your true self is or what authenticity is. But what I do know is I try and do what I want to do and what I enjoy to do, and I try and stay relaxed in my body, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I play guitar the way I want to play guitar. I sing the way I want to sing. I act the way I want to act. And it's been a long journey trying to figure this out, I suppose. And I kind of almost had it without realizing it as a child. And I think that's why I kind of got where I did at a young age. And I'm more conscious of it now. That idea of letting go of the outcome and just doing what I want to do actually leads to a better outcome.
Yeah.
I think Rick Rubin talks about it, the producer, the idea of doing it for you. And there are musicians that I've heard, a musician, Jacob Collier, he completely disagrees. He thinks do it for the audience.
Yeah, there's some beef going on there.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, you know, I don't know what the answer is, but what I know for sure is when I'm making my work or doing any kind of art, if I'm doing it for me, it makes it so much better. And then I think people notice in the same way that maybe when I'm talking about it now, I'm talking about it the way I want to talk about it.
Yeah,
and hopefully
I mean,
that makes you go, fucking, like this is interesting to listen to, just because I'm trying to get across what I really do want to do and what I care about, I suppose. And I guess I can go back to your point, disbelief, I suppose. Yeah, so therefore, I feel incredibly privileged that I've been able to be surrounded by that environment where I'm being allowed to do that, because so many people get shunned by people and get sort of made to feel small, and they're made to feel embarrassed, or they're humiliated in front of people at a young age, and they go, oh, I can't express myself, whatever. And it's so valid, because obviously it's a tough old like situation, like being around your peers, especially when you're a kid, like being around your peers or trying to make it in the world, being judged, this idea. And it's it makes so much sense that people don't want to do it. But I think as soon as you realize that you really can do what you want to do and no one can really stop you, even if it's just sitting in your room doing what you want to do for no one else's benefit except yours. The fact that I can create work that is me doing that, and then I can sell that to people and hopefully let them know, hey, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So maybe you should too. I think that's the crux of it. That's why I do what I do.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the gratefulness, the authenticity, all of that shines right through. And as you said, that's going to connect with people. I think you can really tell when artists kind of chase a sound or a sound that's current or popular.
Yeah.
It's so evident. And at least for me, I don't connect with that. And when I know an artist is doing music that they love, maybe it's not a particular sound that I enjoy, but I connect with it way more than if I heard something that they did just because they were trying to be relevant or popular or whatever. So good on you, man, because continue down that path because it will connect with people for sure.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Absolutely, man. I want to dig into the journey of songwriting for you. You mentioned a few things, studio and sitting in your room and all that, which I love the detail of that. So, COVID happened. Were you playing guitar before that, or you picked up a guitar then?
So my mom has been gigging in pubs and bars since 13 years old. So she's a guitarist. She's into like country music and
cool
folk music and Bruce Springsteen and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So got me sort of playing guitar very casually since I was very young. But probably about 15, I was like, hey, I kind of want to take this more seriously. I want to be able to play, can say that I'm a guitarist. I think before I was just playing, a few chords and thinking I was a guitarist, but I'm not actually. And I think, at that age, I decided, no, I want to take this a little bit more seriously. And that coincided with my mum introducing me to a lot more music. I think I was very much the kind of boy that listened to Capital FM when I was 13 or whatever. I listened to a lot of, just like pop music. And then at about 15, I got exposed to like 70s folk and singer-songwriter music and soul music and funk music. And that's basically my taste, I'd say.
What are some artists that inspired you while you were listening?
Jackson Browne, James Taylor, Tracy Chapman, Jason Isbell, country singer.
Yep.
Garth Brooks. Nice. Who else? From before that sort of time, like Ed Sheeran, for example, is someone I listened to a lot at a young age. Mm-hmm. And so it's definitely heavily influenced my music, kind of finding that balance between pop, singer-songwriter, and folk singer-songwriter.
Jazzy.
I love the 1975. I love their new album. Yeah. It's got that country influence.
Their sound is so good.
Earth, Wind and Fire, Quincy Jones, Lionel Richie, so many artists. But yeah, like definitely my taste. I definitely love funk and soul and like Marvin Gaye and that kind of stuff. I guess I don't lead into that through my music just because I think I'm not necessarily surrounded by the individuals yet to help to realize that kind of dream. I think that would be something I'd love to experiment with as I meet more musicians. But I think especially my voice and my type of storytelling definitely lends itself to that kind of singer-songwriter vibe. Yeah. So that's what I'm starting with. But I'd love to be able to experiment with like soul and
it'd be really interesting with your voice. Yeah,
jazz and that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I do a little bit of jazz, kind of. But just try and just do what I like, I suppose.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah. So you were songwriting on the guitar then. Did that come naturally for you, given that you already knew how to play guitar, or was it quite a journey to get to where you are now?
Yeah, I think one of the most helpful things is actually that I'm not that good
at guitar or songwriting.
Yeah. Well, no, I think the truth is when I started writing songs, it was very apparent that I'm not the most technical guitar player. The bottom line is I learn songs that I like. I sort of my favorite songs, try and learn them. My mum taught me certain things. And then I'm like, these are things I know. What can I make out of them? And actually, there's a joy in taking something very simple, like the chord swings for one of my songs, for example, and just be like, wow, I love this. This is great. Because the truth is you can be really technical. You can know, you know, your scales and know your, you know, chords and your circle of fifths, all this kind of stuff. And you make something and you go, God, I don't really like this.
Yeah.
I don't know. You listen to like some of the greatest songs and they're just very simple. And I think that they're simple in perhaps their foundation, but they're very complex in their honesty, I suppose. And that's what's key, is that I think I take stuff that I just think sounds good, no matter if I think it's complex or think it's simple. And I've learned a lot from guitar, like as I've been doing this. So obviously I could say I've gotten better as a guitar player. But the main thing is just taking something that you like the sound of and don't judge it. Don't think, oh, I've heard this before, whatever. If it feels new to you in that moment, just go with it and see what happens. And I think that's benefited me because I haven't judged my work too much. Whereas I've got friends who are great guitar players, really talented individuals, and they struggle to write songs because they go, oh, this is something, it's not new, or I don't like this reminds me of something else, or why am I so bad, or whatever. And I go, sounds good to me.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe it's that idea of feeling like it is exciting because you haven't got a wider knowledge of what you're doing. So you're like, wow, this sounds great to me. I'm going to keep going with this. And then you write the song and then no one notices that you're perhaps ripping off 100 artists that you don't even know you're ripping them off. Because there's so much music, you can't help but rip off everyone.
Of course, yeah.
So I guess I don't care about that, I suppose. Nice. I go, what makes me unique? It's my story. It's my personal experience. It's my tone of my voice. I'm not going to be the most unique guitar player. I'm not going to be the most unique chord creator because you can't really create them, can you? So I fiddle around with the guitar. I find stuff I like and then I tell a story, and that's how I go about it.
Cool.
And hopefully then it falls into something that is me, rather than me trying to be that or trying to be the best guitar player or trying to be the best singer.
That's a really good takeaway, man. I have often battled with sitting down to produce something, and similarly simple stuff. I mean, I'm not completely well versed in all of it, so it is simple, and I'm like, oh man, like I need to be doing more. I need to make it more complex. And even though what I had sounded good and I could absolutely build a song off of that, it just never felt like you know, I guess when you watch interviews of Jacob Collier, for example, or John Mayer, or these super just music geniuses, honestly, and they're talking about their chord structures and all this and all that, and you're like, oh my God, like, so you mean just a simple C chord is not enough? You know, you gotta make it a C. Whatever. Yeah. So it's interesting to hear you say whatever you know you're best at, that's going to be what you give. Yeah. And you're happy with that. And I think that's quite inspiring for me and for hopefully people that are listening as well.
And I guess the truth is there's no right answer, because I listen to music that is complex and I like it. Yeah. I like Jacob Collier's work. It's fantastic. Like the way like Bridge Over Troubled Water that he's done recently. Yeah. It's insane.
Unreal.
It's unreal. It's so emotional. It's so complex. Yeah. But then also I listen to, I don't know, Hallelujah. Yeah. Jeff Buckley. Yeah. And it's actually quite, if you kind of know how to play guitar, it's achievable to be able to play that pretty quickly, hopefully, if you practice. And that song is just as beautiful as anything that any technically gifted, skilled songwriter could make, you know. It's just chords. It's just, you know, simple pop chords. But it's his delivery. Yeah. And it's the way he sings it and what he's saying and the way he feels about his chords, I suppose. Yeah. That makes sense? Like, you can play a C chord and it can feel crap to you because, I don't know, you're in a space where you feel like, oh, it's too simple. But then you come back up 6 months later and you're like, actually, this chord is great. Because when I listen to other people's songs and they use this chord, it sounds great. Yeah. If you're just going with a different mindset, maybe you create better work just because you're not judging yourself so much and you're not forcing yourself to be something special, because the truth is I feel like, you know, there's so many people on this earth. Yeah. You're not that special, but the truth is that, but you are special, but you're not. It's weird, isn't it? It's like you're not that unique, but you are still, no one is like you.
Mm-hmm.
So you might be playing the exact same C major chord, but the way you're playing it maybe is slightly different.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not even noticeable to most people, but maybe it's noticeable to that person that cares about your music, that your monthly listener, or that person that's your super fan. They notice, and that's why they follow you, I suppose. So yeah, I shift that pressure. I don't see my job to be unique.
Nice.
I see my job to be myself.
Nice.
And actually, that's the key point. Honesty is key. I think that is where you find uniqueness. Because if you search to be interesting, you're never going to be interesting. If you try and say something honest to someone through a song, through having a chat, or through, I don't know, being in a play, if you let something out honest, people will go, "Oh wow, you're so unique."
Yeah.
It's like, was I being unique? I don't know.
Yeah, you're just doing.
I think honesty is so key.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's easier said than done. I don't know. Am I even being honest now? Who knows? But like, I'm just figuring it out.
Yeah.
I'm just figuring it out. Like, and I suppose I'm hoping that the reason, like, for example, my first song resonated with people just because those were stories of my life, my friend's life,
And that's with you in your town.
Yeah.
Put up the artwork there. And,
yeah. And who knows? My second song that I made,
Friends.
It's a far more shallow song, I suppose, lyrically, just about being a guy in a bar, being afraid to talk to a girl.
But it's fun.
From personal experience, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I think, because I don't like being that guy in the club, having to like go over to that person that's staring at you, and I'm just like, I don't want to be here. I want to be at like I don't want to be in like a bar listening to like live music. I don't want to be in the club listening to pop or whatever. Yeah. It's a bit weird, and I haven't done that for a long time. But yeah, it was like I was reminiscing about that sort of when I was 17, no, that's 18. It's sort of out, and you're kind of in that sort of dating scene. It's a bit weird, and obviously the song is quite old school, I suppose.
Yeah.
And so it's that weird thing of me wishing life was more that way.
Sure.
But also the humor around that, the idea that I'm now in a relationship and I don't have to deal with that single life, and it's me sort of laughing at myself a little bit. But at the same time, who knows? Because like I can release that first song and it's really struck a chord with people, and this second song has struck a chord with some people, maybe less people, whatever. And then you've got two choices. You can look at the numbers and go, oh my god, like this is a problem, or you can just go, do I like what I'm making? And do I like both songs? Or they're both, one's more folk, one's more jazz. The folk people might not like the jazz song, and the jazz people might not like the folk song. Who cares? Like, I just, for me, I have faith, I suppose, in the fact that am I saying something that applies to me, that's honest about what's going on with me, and hopefully that will just find people. And if it doesn't find people, is that okay? I think so. I think so.
Okay.
Obviously, I think, to you've got to have a career, you've got to survive with stuff, you've got to be able to make money and live. But I don't know, I suppose I don't want to sacrifice what I'm making for that. I don't know. It's that is the goal, isn't it? It's the dream to be able to survive off your work. But I'd rather make the work and be really proud of the work, and then try my best to survive other ways, which is kind of what I'm doing now, I suppose. And be really happy with the work, because I think if I was getting millions of streams on the work, I didn't like the work, I'd be like, God, I don't know, I'd feel a little bit something wouldn't be right in me. I'd be mad at myself. Yeah. So I tried to just kind of make what I like and then forget about it. But at the moment, it seems to be working out, and hopefully that means that honesty works. Hopefully. Yeah. Or trying to. I make that clear, actually, because obviously, who knows if you're really being honest? Like, and that's a process. I think it's the act of trying to be honest, not necessarily just being honest, because who knows if you are being honest.
I mean, it's honesty, but it's also what feels good to you, and that's kind of been a theme of this conversation, from what I hear.
Yeah, trying. The pursuit of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think in the age of self-promotion, which we all kind of have to do now,
that's a crazy thing.
I'm often told, you got to make this video, or you got to do it this way to get the views, or you've got to whatever. Advice where it just doesn't feel authentic to me. And part of me says, maybe they're right. Maybe I do need to make that weird video that will get a bunch of people to like it, because I want this thing to succeed. But also, similar to what you said, if you got 1 million views on something and you didn't feel good about what you did, like that's everything. Like I'm not interested in clickbait. I'm not interested, and I'm talking about podcasts. I'm talking about whatever I do in life. It's just, honesty, or again, stuff that I feel good about that feels like things that I would do. I got to stay true to that.
I think my gut feeling is similar to you. Yeah, I just want to do what I want to do, and who knows? But then the bottom line is there is a balance, because we can't just go on with our lives kind of thinking, I'll just do whatever I like, and who cares? Because then you become arrogant. Right. And I think that is something that I've battled with, trying to get this right and trying to talk about it in the right way, because the truth is, especially with acting, this is really key, is it's not about you. Acting is not about me when I'm on set, even though I'm the actor and I'm in the room and I'm the one on the spotlight. It's not about me. The director, if you're in a project that you're very lucky to be in, the director is making something that they care about. They are trying to tell a story that hopefully is close to home, maybe, or even if it's not, it's just something that resonated with them. They're going, I want you to be part of the project. So they want you to realize their story. You're not the guy that's writing the story. It's not about you. You're not making choices. You're not making creative decisions unless you're, a producer. If you're, Jake Gyllenhaal, Leonardo DiCaprio, or you're Brad Pitt, you get to make creative choices. I don't get to make creative choices until I get to that position. So my job is literally just be the paintbrush, be the basically the puppet standing there and do what they tell me to do. And then my job is to be honest about it. That's literally the job. It's like, I need you to attack that individual in this scene verbally. We're having an argument. You need to attack this individual. I don't get to decide whether I'm attacking them or not. In my opinion, this is how I approach the work. I just go, right, that's what I have to do. That's the story. So I try and do that honestly based on what my experience is of being in arguments, for example. And the same with music, I suppose, and in just... It's about me, it's about my life, but the reason I'm putting it out into the world is because it's no longer about me. It's about sharing it and them going, they're getting something out of it, I suppose. Because then you just sit in your room and just do it for yourself. So why are you doing it? And obviously, one answer is I just need to make money, I suppose. And that is, but we live in this world where that's important, I suppose, because if I don't have money, I can't rent a place, I can't live in a home, I can't buy anything. I mean, you can't survive. So it's totally understandable to do it for money, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because everyone needs to find their way. And if you can do it doing something you enjoy, then that's brilliant. That is a privilege in itself. But I think having like a kind of a higher thing going on above you, going, I'm doing it because I'm passionate about it, but also because other people can gain from it. I think that is what drives me and keeps me consistently posting content, for example. So I've had the exact same experience, like trying to post stuff that you think you're selling your soul. It's a bit weird. It's not, it's a bit exaggeration, because are you really selling your soul? Who knows? But I think what's really key, what is it? It's striking. I guess it's striking that balance. Like I don't make stuff that I hate. I make stuff that I like. But at the same time, you have to make stuff. You have to kind of follow certain trends. Like, for example, people do certain things on TikTok, for example, or on Instagram, and it works. And you can't just ignore it. Like the idea of, for example, what I've definitely taken on board is I no longer just sit in my room and play my songs. That's the easiest thing to do. So like, and obviously some people it works really well because they're going for that really kind of like natural vibe. They're going, right, I'm going to sit in my bedroom, sort of keep it really bare, really stripped back, and sort of just sing a song, and then some of them go viral, some of them don't. But so many people doing it now, it's way more saturated. For me, that doesn't work. So it's forcing me to, do I want to be successful? I guess yes. So am I going to go out and really think about the videos I'm making? And that's what
singing on tubes.
Exactly, singing on the tubes, singing out in parks, singing anywhere, like I went to Seven Sisters Cliffs in Seaford, and we recorded some content. I went on like a 7-hour walk with my girlfriend, purely just because we wanted to do it. But I was like, I'll bring the camera. If I was being truly like true to myself, whatever you want to, I'd be like, no, I'm not bringing the camera. I want to enjoy it. I want to be in the moment, whatever. But the bottom line is, I got to make some content, man. I got to make some stuff. So I was just like, right. And also, what I made was cool because we were on this cliff, and it will come out eventually. And I'm promoting my next song that I'm releasing, and I'm just on this cliff, and it's the background. It looks like I'm about to fall off a cliff because I'm so close to it, and it's like I'm happy I made it. And the truth is I'm finding that balance because, you know, if I really wanted to be true to myself or sort of just do it for me, maybe I wouldn't put all that effort in. But actually what I'm finding is the better you get at making content, the more you enjoy it. So the more it actually becomes what you want to do.
Yeah.
The more confidence you have in, I know what I'm doing here. I know what looks good. I know like how I want the camera to move. I know how to sort of like, I've got my girlfriend filming or I've got my mate filming, and I feel more confident in the process because I trust them and I trust in their creativity as well. And I'm surrounding myself with people that I respect. So I'm enjoying this process now.
Good.
And I'm feeling more relaxed doing it. And then suddenly you're not selling your soul anymore. You're actually doing something you like, even though the idea of doing that 3 years ago was selling your soul.
Yeah.
So it's fun to balance because certain things definitely are selling your soul. I think there are certain things, if someone asked me to do, I'd be like, no way, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But there are certain things, for example, changing my songs. Someone's like, can you just like not do that bit? Can you just not say that? That's a bit controversial. Or that's a bit, I don't know, that's not what I think your audience would want to hear, or that's not the genre you usually do. That irritates me to the highest degree. And obviously right now I'm in control, so I don't have to deal with that. But I'm going to be very conscious of that. I think the music has to be as honest as it can be. But the content, you know, the promotional stuff, I'm kind of open to it being whatever it needs to be, I suppose, because I think deep down, all I care about at the most fundamental level is, am I proud of my work? And my work is my songs, and the work is my acting performances and stuff. And so if I have to, like, you know, for example, you got to go to like a red carpet event, you know, your film blows up or something. Oh, you need to wear this outfit. Someone made me wear it. I go, well, why not? Whatever. Yeah. I guess, you know, I guess I don't know. I suppose the answer is depends what it is. But the idea is, you know, sometimes you got to do certain things because this is the way the world works now. Yeah. And, you know, if I could change the world, I would. I'd make it all about, you know, not doing it for money, doing it, you know, people being able to do things purely for out of enjoyment. But the truth is that's not how the world works. There are people who control this world that we're in that I don't have access to at this point, right? Or never will have access to. So I got to play the game. But I think the biggest thing is keeping the work not about that. Separating the actual song that you're releasing, or separating the scene you're doing, or why you're doing the scene, or why you're working with that director, or why you're in this room with this producer. That stuff needs to be honest and needs to be pure. And then trying to take that honest work and sort of try and play the game with it, or try and find your way where you're playing the game but you also feel like you're being honest, and that's a really difficult thing to do. I'm trying to figure that out. I think the way I'm figuring that out at the moment is kind of trying to create stuff that is visually interesting and stuff that people would want to watch, that is kind of, you know, that kind of idea that it's just tension grabbing or whatever. But still, my performance in the video and my song of the video is still me. Yeah. And that's what I think I'm trying to find that balance, is that I don't feel like I'm having to like put on this act through my performance. I'm just being myself. Yeah. Whereas actually what I'm showing visually and what I'm doing, sort of sell it in terms of color and that kind of stuff. That's where I'm kind of leaning into kind of, you know, what I think I'm learning from other creators, I suppose. But the music, I wouldn't want to change that. I wouldn't let anyone mess with that.
I hope that continues, because you're on an awesome trajectory at the moment, and again, your music is great.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah. I wanna get you to play on here. Sure. So we'll do that in a bit. But what's next, man?
What's next? So
you got 2 songs now.
We haven't even talked about.
I know.
Any of this stuff.
We'll have to do a part 2 or something. But Friend's Phone and With You in Your Town.
Yeah, so they're out on Spotify right now. The next thing is a live EP. Maybe we'll talk about that in detail, or more stuff I'm making in the future. But so I've basically realised that I want to get back to that honest, like we talked about. You know, even though I think I'm learning, and I think those 2 songs I've released, I'm going in that direction, but I think I can make something that is more who I really am. And so I sat down with this producer, Callum McCall, who I met at the pub where I work, and we went to his house, recorded for like 5 days, and we just made a 4-track EP that's live EP. So it's just me and guitar, and I'm excited about it. I think it really represents who I am as an artist. I think actually probably shows that better than the previous songs. And it's nice to see that journey, see what I've made now and what I'm going to make next. And I'm really excited to share that with everyone.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
I can announce actually that the next single is coming out on the 19th of July, which is very soon.
Nice. Yeah, we'll try to get this episode out.
Gonna be announcing it over the next few days. I'll just pop that on here. Yeah, it's called Parents.
Awesome.
But yeah,
I see you teasing it on the socials.
Yeah, it's more for and for another conversation, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We'd love to have you back on because later down the line, I'm sure you'll have more songs out and a lot more experience. And it'd be great to chat to you again because
it'd be interesting to see how different I am.
Yeah, well, hopefully
maybe I'm
still the same.
Maybe I sold my soul, man. I'll be going back on everything I've said today. Be fun.
Which would be an interesting conversation to have.
No.
Nice, man. Yeah, let's get you set up.
Cool.
See if we can get it to work.
Thank you. Let's do it.
Yeah. Go for it.
So which one do you want to hear? With You in Your Town?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Right, this is With You in Your Town by me, Tommy Rodger. Eugene from down the street's trying to be the general secretary of his university and keeps getting hate mail from the Nordic Society. Hey, what's going on with you in your town? And Tina's got her turtle shell lenses in her hair, and what you think of her decisions? Yeah, you know she does not fucking care, but hey, what's going on with you in your town? Oh, and my uncle, he's obsessed with me. Was born with a disability. In July he'll be 53. I swear he's the greatest man you'll ever meet. But hey, what's going on with you in your town? Oh, I said, hey, what's going on with you in your town? Tell me a story, the tales you've been told. Tell me who does things you've been sold. What you cling on to when you get older. Share it all, 'cause it's beautiful, that life that refracts to your right. A painful truth, not perfect lie. What makes you laugh, makes you cry. I scream it at you till the day I flatline. Your what matters, you better remember that. Oh, I met Benny back in primary school. He'd break his arm for arson of a twin. No, not identical. Yeah, him and Henry, they're pretty cool. But what's going on with you in your town? And Kevin's getting cocaine shoved up his nose, a form of blackmail. So his buddy from work cheating on his bud in a cubicle. But what's going on with you in your town? And my D's learning medicine, trying to save folks from their suffering. But of course it's like 9 years should make time for a ski season in Switzerland for the summer. Switzerland for the summer. Switzerland for the summer. Switzerland. Buddy's having fun now with the friends. But hey, what's going on with you in your town? Oh, I said, hey, what's going on with you in your town? Tell me a story, the tales you've been told. Tell me who does things you've been told. What you cling on to when you get older. Share it all, 'cause it's beautiful, that life that refracts to your right. A painful truth, not perfect lie. What makes you laugh, makes you cry. I scream it at you till the day I flatline. You're what matters, you better remember that. Oh, I said, hey, what's going on with you in your town? Oh, I said, hey, what's going on with you in your town? Eugene from down the street is trying to be the general secretary of his university. Keeps getting hate mail from the Nordic Society. Hey, what's going on with you in your town. Oh, and my uncle, he's obsessed with me. Was born with a disability, and some people, they can be so mean. I swear he's the greatest man you'll ever meet, babe. What's going on with you in your town? Oh, I said, hey, what's going on with you in your town?
So good, man. So good. Incredible.
Thank you very much.